Hey guys, and welcome to a legendary showdown on Total War Warhammer 3. I'm a Rubber Duck of War, and I have been a very sneaky ducky. I've been stealing builds. Now, stealing builds is certainly something good for newer players in particular if they're struggling to sort stuff out, but this is a matchup that I'd had a bit of trouble with before. In particular, actually, was more Tzeentch versus Grand Cafe, but onion builds in general could always be a bit of a problem for Tzeentch to deal with. And I saw one of Turin's latest videos, did a really awesome build, so I kind of took that design, I've tweaked it a little bit. For his was against Grand Cafe, while mine is against Kislev, so we've added in some extra Screamers and some Forsaken, taking away a couple of the Furies, because backline harass is still important, but not quite as important, and I thought the Screamers would do some decent damage up against the enemy cavalry. But apart from that, the basis is going to be relatively similar. It's a really good way if you're struggling in a matchup. See what other people are doing, what works, try it out, and then tweak it to suit your own design. For our build, we got double Forsaken. They're going to be guarding the flanks for now. A nice central pocket of blue horrors and pink horrors, but a fun little formation going in as well, so our pink horrors can get a little bit closer to the front line while still being protected. With an Exalted Flame of Tzeentch, the idea behind this bad boy has got quite decent range, so should hopefully be able to outshoot a lot of the Kislev forces. He looks like an evil goblin clown. It is a really weird face, but he's going to be charging in there. We do have an Exalted Lord of Change up in the skies, coming with basically as many air effect damage spells as we can get. So we do have the Golden Hounds, we have Searing Doom, but also be trying out Plague of Rust, that old school classic combo, mixing that with the Forsaken or the Screamer should hopefully enable them to punch above their weight against enemy cavalry. A couple of Screamers up in the skies, we have pink horrors in the back there, we have some Knights of Immolation, so this is the new regiment renowned for Tzeentch. I'm actually quite a big fan of them. I think they're pretty badass and cool, and they're going to be dropping their bombs, their fat, juicy Searing Torrents down on the enemy, and been a nice backline harass unit. I also have a lone unit of Chaos Furies in the far side. For my opponent, he has one lone unit of light war sleds and is then a main battalion of armoured Kossars dotted all the way through the front, backed up by double Streltsy. Very common tactic here. Armoured Kossars take the brunt of the damage. Normally you have basic Kossars just behind, but upgrading it to Streltsy also makes sense, getting a bit more bang for your buck and less to protect. We do have Little Grom in the back here. Not the biggest fan of Little Grom in this matchup. I love Little Grom normally. Let's give his bear, sorry, not wolf, a little neck rub, just let him know that I do like Little Grom. But with a matchup with so many enemy shields, I don't know if it's going to be very optimal. We have a Snow Leopard for our opponents. We have the Oath Brothers of Tor, who are incredibly powerful. They seem to take almost no damage on the charge, and really scary abilities on them. And then we have a sneaky Ice Witch of Tempest. Very classy going for Tempest here rather than Ice Magic. Coming with Blizzard and Hailstorm, certainly two relatively decent spells. So let's get this battle underway. I am going to be rotating my army quite heavily, so this is actually the start of my deployment zone here. I'm moving all the way around to the left-hand side. My opponent has spotted my Flying Knights of Immolation, but I'm hoping they've not spotted the Furies yet, so I'm trying to get them to turn their build, so I'm going to be easier access to the rear of my opponent's formation. Knights of Immolation have taken a tiny bit of damage. Their shields have been stripped. The light war sleds poking and fending them off. Not too much damage realistically though there. We will better heal up with our shields relatively soon as our army gets into position. Pretty awesome stuff. Is about to come. There's a lot of kind of slow positioning in the early stages of this battle, but then it gets pretty damn rock and roll, and we're going to be instantly dropping a few big spells into the battle. So Searing Doom's going to come down nice and early here. Streltsy do open fire into the big bird, but my shield gets stripped and I simply fall back once again. When your opponent is repositioned like this, it's quite often a good time to kind of take advantage of their units clumping over top of each other, and sometimes the clumsy pathing. So we do have the Knights of Immolation moving on the left-hand side with the Screamers. The ones on the right just staying back in a more defensive position. We did manage to flush out some Griffin Legion who are hiding in the trees. They've now rotated up and all the way around, but I've got a plan to deal with them. I'm hoping Plague of Rust combined with the Screamers should be able to do some relatively decent damage. The opening fight is about to get underway. The glorious Exalted Flame is going to be popping some beautiful pink fire down the way. Some of it gets caught on the rock, but others do pretty decent damage to the flank of the Armoured Kossars, and that's relatively how you want to shoot. Screamers go for a bit of a Hail Mary shot onto the light war sleds, trying to bunch them in where possible. As this happens, the pink and blue horrors are going to move forward, looking to focus fire down one unit at a time. So going to hop on these armoured Kossars, get rid of them, and then move on to the next one. Screamer Sacrifice probably wasn't the best play there. They are getting ripped to shreds. Furies are also darting into the back, jumping on the Streltsy. There is going to be cavalry coming to support, but I've got a decent amount of time here to get some work done in the middle. And all the time this is happening, the Knights are moving in, and my focus fire is working. Armoured Kossars go down. The other unit take massive burst damage there from the torrent of flame pooped out of the bums of the Knights of Immolation. Furies do go down here, though this has forced my opponent to bunch up all his troops again, and we're going to take surely advantage of this, coming in with some air of effect spells where possible. It looks like we're just out of range, a little bit sloppy by me, but we're on our way, and my opponent is still bunched up here. We do get a hailstorm coming from our opponent. I am able to dodge this, though, with the blue horrors for the most part. It's actually a Tempest doing some nice damage. I am kind of reacting as quickly as possible with the Golden Hounds, though, jumping through Streltsy as well as the Bears, doing some really lovely damage, plus a Searing Doom on top of that, really punching my opponent for saving his own back line. Forsaken are pushing. My opponent is getting nice and aggressive on the left-hand flank. We do have the Griffin Legion charging home into the mixture of Blue Horrors and Forsaken. Screamers are going to rear attack them with a Plague of Rust popped on them, and the Forsaken are going to have an absolute whale of a day there. Nice Immolation pushing it towards the back, looking to jump on the Armoured Cossars and hopefully fend them off as the Griffin Legion continue to retreat. Pink Horrors and Blue Horrors are re-establishing the back firing position, looking to unleash hell upon the enemy. Exotic Flame is doing some really nice work as well. I've been impressed with him. But Blue Horrors on the left-hand side were able to win their engagement. They're now going to be rotating around, looking to pop some shots at those Bears, who I consider to be my main threats at the moment. Forsaken doing a decent job. Little Grom is continuously popping shots long range, but there's not much I can do about him right now. I'm not that fussed by him. He's going to get some okay value, I'm sure, but my Knights are needed elsewhere, and so is my Exalted Lord. We are going to be coming in some more damage onto the Streltsy, as Blue Horrors do launch and Kobe their plasma grenades towards the enemy. The Streltsy are just stripped of HP, flesh to bone there, and the Blue Horrors can move up upon them as well. The Exotic Flame is doing really lovely damage. Looks like he's mainly been focusing down some of the enemy infantry, though I am trying to get the pain on the Oath Brothers where possible, because I know they're a really good late game carry in the latter stages of the battle. The Knights of Immolation are trying to escape. Unfortunately, one guy is caught on the ground. This happens quite a bit, alas, and it is a big pain in the butt, so the bear is going to be ripping and tearing into him. Most likely he's going to be going down. Hailstorm does pop in. Once again, we're able to dodge with the Blue Horrors, showcasing a little bit of micro magic there, and I'm actually going to be moving the Blue Horrors to try to distract all of these units, and you can see raining down is the ability from the Oath Brothers. Looks very cool indeed. That's me applying a blinding effect to my infantry. I'm quite happy for my opponent to blob up where possible, though, because I'm using my mobility to jump on Armoured Corsairs, and this is buying more and more time for the Pink Horrors and Exalted Flamer to do some nice damage to these more elite units. In the back line, we have the Forsaken continuing to push. Blue Horrors as well are jumping on Streltsy as well as Little Grom, looking to hopefully pin him in place and bring those double bear brothers to justice. The Furies have been summoned as well. Got our first summon, actually, of the day, so we've got another one in the back pocket. I've been saving these for the latter stages of the battle to try to tip balance the power in my favour. Bit of a cheeky tactic there. Pink Horrors are continuously launching shots into the enemy. Light Warslave is down to just one model, and it's barely clinging on for dear life right here. It actually gets roasted by the Pink Horrors and explodes in a puff of magical flame. And now the Griffin Legion are under threat. It looks like the Knights of Immolation are going to go for yet another bombing run. I really need to do this bombing run more often. It charges up when you're in melee, and I've only got off 2 bombing runs. I believe I've got access to 5 there, so I need to be a little bit quicker with them. That's a bit of kind of feedback to myself. Blue Horrors are going to be pushing in, trying to protect the Pink Horrors for as long as possible. Looks like my opponent really wants to get the Exotic Flame off the battlefield. This is a bit of a mistake, though. I'm out of ammunition, so this Exotic Flame is basically useless. Searing Doom does clatter the Oath Brothers once more, and the Griffin Legion are trying their best. One of the coolest looking units in the game, lancing down Pink Horrors here. They look fantastic, really a standout on the Kislev roster, but I'm going to not be kind to them just because I like their unit design. It looks like we're going to have some more air effect spells come in here by both of us. We get a hailstorm of ice shards coming down to split the skin of the Forsaken open. Likewise, I'm going to counter magic, I suppose, with the Hounds. Unfortunately, they do kind of dive towards my own Forsaken, not getting the best work, but I've been saving up. Boy, oh boy, have I been saving, and I'm trying to do my big air effect ability as the fires of Zinch rain down from the skies. Evil cackling commence. And you can see the Oath Brothers are taking quite considerable damage here. The Corsairs should be getting finished off as well. Griffin Legion not looking at too great. Balance power now is heavily in my favour. Got a few Pink Horrors left. There's some Blue Horrors in the distance. Just trying to use the Knights of Immolation where possible to hunt down these routing units. I am going to lose the Exalted Flamer, but at the end of the day, that's not the biggest loss. I'm going to be able to claim Little Grom, or at least that's the hope here with the Exalted Lord of Change. And we're now hunting down units in the outfield here with the Knights of Immolation. So I'm going to speed this up a little bit, as it's just, of course, my opponent destroying some of my units on the flanks before coming back into action. He gets a really nice blizzard. I did try to react. The Blue Horrors were pulled back. Once you're caught in that blizzard, it does devastating damage. And look at this. Oh my god, the poor Blue Horrors. Push through, lads. But I don't think they're going to make it. Lovely cars. That's going to one-shot this unit. Nice Immolation, of course, are going to be able to get the charge on the enemy, which is really crucial here. And we do summon our last unit of Chaos Furies, keeping them in the back pocket to try to drag down my opponent. So it looks like Ice Storm or Ice Hail is going to come in once again. Doing some okay damage to the Knight's Immolation. Pretty good stuff. Going to be doing a friendly fire as well. Furies have been enough to force off the Oath Brothers. They're going to be trying to cycle charge in now. And the Ice Witch of Tempest is really struggling. She's actually got 0 armor right now due to the Plague of Rust taking her down. And it looks like army losses is going to kick in. And I think justly so. We got Pink Horrors on the way back, though. They may not actually make it. But the Knight's Immolation still over half HP. The Big Bird as well is full HP, and spellcasters, particularly single entity spellcasters, cost so much balance of power. It's kind of crazy, but even without that, I think we win this one quite comfortably. Furies are bouncing up and down in celebration. Oosh, 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 doing some glorious dance moves. But it's more just a victory dance, I suppose, for the Knights of Immolation, who are really one of my favourite regiments renowned to come from this pack. Just thematically, they're very cool. And I've had some pretty decent success with them as well. I'd like to know, actually, what your guys' favourite ROR is so far from the pack. I think Knights of Immolation are very cool indeed. 968 value. The Exalted Flame did, pretty good. 980 work. But the main damage came in from the Exalted Lord of Change. I often bring, Final Transmutation, and I think in the current meta, there's a lot of chart times where, your opponent's just going to box build, in which case it might be really good. But against onion builds and just mass infantry, big, wide stacks is also relatively common. Coming in just with, Seer and Doom and Hounds is going to get you some really juicy value, particularly up against the force of Kislev. We got nearly 2.7k gold value and 120 kills on the Exiled Lord of Change, and he was basically full health at the end of the game. I do love to see the Oath Brothers in action. They didn't have the best game today, still got 1,000 gold value despite that. Griffin Legion, very cool. And a little Grom, 1k on him. Interesting choice against Tzeentch. Not sure if I approve, but I mean, it did work, so, who am I to judge? Hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, make sure to leave a big, fat, juicy thumbs up. Feel free to subscribe to the channel and comment down below what you thought of the battle. Feel free to go check out Turin's replay as well. It was done on, let me check the date, probably the 6th of July, I think it was released, which is a similar build. It's a little bit different. We've kind of tweaked it, but the same idea. Feel free to go check it out. He's a really awesome dude, and yeah, it's always good to steal builds from him because he's got some really nasty and good ones. This is going to come out quite a bit after then, so you may have to scroll back a little bit because I've done a lot of videos in advance here. But yeah, there's all the links down below to Twitch, Patreon, and Discord. Massive shout out to my Patreons as well as my YouTube members who are keeping the channel afloat right now. So massive shout out to them. And until next time, guys, peace, peace. And as always, stay awesome.